Hey everyone, what's going on? Sean here from Welcome to the Party, and with everything that's going on right now, a lot of people are trying to find new ways to play role-playing games together, and one of the great platforms out there to do this on is, of course, Roll20. Roll20 is a sponsor of Welcome to the Party, and I run all of my games on it, and most of the folks on the channel do too, so you should head over there, roll20.net, and sign yourself up for a free account. Today, I feel like it might be good to start at the very beginning of how to run a Roll20 campaign. So I'm going to teach you how to set up a campaign on Roll20. We're actually going to use a campaign that was generously donated by Roll20 and that will start on the channel well, when you're watching this, it'll probably be about a week. And that is going to be a Descent into Avernus game. So once you've logged in, which is right up here, if you're looking to buy a campaign, there's a ton of them on the marketplace. Go check it out, marketplace.roll20.net. They've got Pathfinder, they got D&D, they got Call of Cthulhu, all sorts of stuff, and a ton of stuff from independent creators as well. So get over there and check it out. Now, once you're ready to actually go and you've bought your campaign or whatever, and you can't really find it, you're not really sure what's going on, head over to My Games. And then create a new game. As you can see, I have a number of games, 7 pages worth of games I've been in. But let's just do a whole new one. Create a new game. And this one we're going to call Dark Descent, because that is the name of the campaign. Type that in there. Boink. And then I'm going to choose a module. See this whole big list over here. I have a lot of stuff from Roll20. I have like 5,700 hours in it, and all you got to do is, it's a lot, I know, all you got to do is click on the little dude, and it will access the content and load it all up for you in the campaign screen that you're going to see in a little bit. So, next thing we do is we set up the character sheet, which in this case is automatically populated for you. And the Roll20 D&D sheet, I think, is by far the best. It has the most options, the easiest output. You should absolutely try and use it. It's super great. Anything else I need to do on this page? If you feel like adding tags to your game, if it's going to be a public game or something like that, and you want folks to search for it, you can absolutely type your tag in there too. But you don't need to. All you need is a game name. You don't even need a module, technically, if you just want to go and set up your own. In this case, I'm prepping for my new campaign that I'll be running starting in a couple of weeks. So, Descent into Avernus it is, with the D&D 5e character sheet. But as you can see, there are a ton of character sheets. They are in alphabetical order and, of course, searchable, so you should check that out. But we're going to stick with D&D 5e by Roll20. And the last thing we do on this page is click I'm ready, create game. Okay, so you can see that the module is being added now. Don't look at this. I don't have 5,700 hours in Roll20. Don't. You can invite players one of two ways, because you're definitely going to want people to come in. First is your email address. You can get your email addresses from all your players and send them invites. They will also need free accounts to play, but hey, they're free. That's super great. Or you can share a link with everybody, have them click on it, and sign in. So once you've done that, and I'm going to invite everybody later, I'm just going to talk you all through it right now. We have a Discord that we use for each of the games that we run on the channel, and so I would just copy this and dump it to all my players. Easiest thing to do. Okay, so first thing I always do is I go into settings, and I do game settings. And then I will kind of just go through and work my way through. There's a bunch of options here. You'll see them all. And this is kind of where you're going to set your GM parameters, but the background technical parameters for the game. Your first question, of course, allow public access to the game. I say no because, I already know who my players are and we're not going to have random people jumping in. Game background image, if you want to set like a cool background image for the game, you can set it up here. Allow players to import their own characters. So all of your characters are available in a thing called the character vault. All of everybody's players are, and a GM can allow other characters to be imported from other games into the game just by clicking yes. So default settings. Here is where you can set the default page size for each of your games, the background color you want, if you need a grid, or if you want to use meters or kilometers or miles or inches as your basic map that comes up when in the campaign actual interface, you click that little plus button in the upper left-hand corner, and a new page is magically created. Then, of course, Fog of War, Advanced Fog of War and Dynamic Lighting, and hey, look, they're going to be updating it super soon. So I'm excited to see that because there are some computers that kind of especially with Chrome, because Chrome is so RAM heavy that it can't use dynamic lighting as well as I think we'd all like, because the system itself is super neato. So I'm really glad that they're updating it. And right now, I do most of my campaign running in Firefox because of that, just because it's a more lightweight browser. And I recommend it to all my players as well. So you can also set your standard token defaults. If you're using battle maps and not doing Theater of the Mind roleplay, you can actually have little health bars and AC bars and like divine, what are they called? The paladin thing where they have like smites and stuff like that per day. You can even have that as like a tracker bar on there. You can set up auras that will actually show up on the map. And these would all be just default things that every token you create when it gets plopped on the board would have. So I tend to leave that blank, because the only people I'm really going to care about bars for are my players. And then, because I picked up the Descent into Avernus module, it's already got all that stuff set up for each of the tokens that are going to be in the game anyways. So I don't even need to touch that right now. The one thing I do, however, do is I like to let players see the names of the tokens, because that way I can like point at that Barghast over there is going to be running this way, and they're like, what's a Barghast? And then you can look at their name and go, oh, it's a Barghast. Okay. So, if the bad guys have aura, I tend to have these clicked by default as well. I don't have the bars clicked because I don't like to let my players know how many HP the bad guys have, because I tend to not fudge the numbers, but I tend to adjust HP numbers and adjust powers based on the composition of my party, because no game can be perfectly balanced, so I think it's the GM's duty, I guess, to balance encounters for their players, and so I tend not to. I kind of leave all the mechanical stuff behind the screens. I also make sure that everybody can see at the beginning, because I like to try and use dynamic lighting wherever possible. And all players see light. Oh no, I don't actually need to do that one, because that would be only if I was assuming all players emit light, then all players could see the light that was emitted. But I do want everyone to have sight, so we're going to do that. Next thing up is the compendium. I own all of the D&D books on Roll20. So I always like to share it with my players so that they can, excuse me, I like to share it with my players so that they can also look up the rules. When we get into the campaign interface, you'll see a little eye in the upper left-hand corner. You can click on that, look everything up. But to do that, I'm going to need to delete something, and I'm going to do that one. And then I'm going to share. Yes. Boink. So now this will automatically populate when I save this. Hey y'all, Sean from the future here. I just wanted to pop in real quick. Between the time that I first recorded this and now, Roll20 already popped out with a new feature called Compendium Selection. What this means is not only can you choose all of the books that you have bought for a given edition to be added to the compendium, but if you want to limit your character options or limit your rule set, you can actually go down and click specifically which books you want to bring in to the campaign for your characters to see, or for your players to see in the compendium. So go check that out. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled me from the past. Bye. And so now we can get into character sheet settings. D&D or Roll20 has a great character mancer that'll actually walk you through character creation. Because my characters, my folk are making all of their characters in D&D Beyond and then importing them, I don't actually need to use the character mancer on here. So I'm going to save them the confusion of having to ask me questions about what is that thing that just popped up, and just have them have a blank sheet they can fill in as if we were all sitting around the table. So next up, role queries. I like to toggle advantage. What that means is that at the top of the bar, and you can see it right over here, at the top of the character sheet, they'll have the opportunity to click on advantage, normal, or disadvantage when they roll their dice. I find it kind of spammy to be rolling advantage all the time, and that's just my personal preference. If you want to keep it on there, you should absolutely feel free, of course. There's also whisper rolls to DMs. I also do this as a toggle because sometimes I like to ask characters or players to roll dice without everybody else seeing them. Of course, we stream, so all the players, or all the audience is going to see them, but the players won't. Next, I never auto-roll damage. There's an interactive piece to me of the game that, because we have to play online, it gets a little lost because you don't have that, tactile feeling in your hands. But allowing them to at least click the button and allowing it to roll damage as a separate action at least retains some of that, even though we're separated by distance and disease. Of course, you can set if you want to have a different core roll. If you want to change your proficiency bonus, you can change. You can have like different tiebreakers and global saves and global skill modifiers. You can show any of these if they are necessary for your game. In my case, with this game, I don't think they're going to be that important. The one thing I might put on there is where is it? Damage at 10. Global save modifier, because a lot of people forget when they get save bonuses, they go for death saves as well. And this is just a little reminder you can have on the sheet. Don't care about character names to templates. We do care about auto level calculations being on because it just helps them. I don't use encumbrance because I don't like encumbrance. So the next thing you can do is choose whether or not you want to fill in. You want to allow your players to fill in by typing their inventory or have it be compendium compatible. What compendium compatible means is that you can literally drag and drop equipment from the compendium that you look up in the campaign over onto your character sheet, which is popped up. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And the same thing is true with features and traits. I tend to leave inventory simple so people can type it in because I also use a lot of made-up magic items, but I leave features and traits compendium compatible because that way we get what's written in the book. Anytime we pull stuff in from the compendium, we can just click on it and there it is. And I tend to also leave proficiencies in languages compendium compatible for the same reason. I don't care about ammo tracking, and in this case, I only care about having their HP on here, this is the automatic, when you assign them a token, this is the hit points that will be assigned to them. And by having a number both in the value and the max, it actually creates the little bar tracker that you see sometimes. We don't care about honor, we don't care about sanity, and so that's it for kind of the background settings for Dark Descent. The way that you interact with the character sheets and the stuff that you want to share with them is actually all really simple, as long as you just take a moment to go through it all, and you read the fine print, and it shows you what it means. Okay, so we've done that, and if you want to get back to your game without having to, like, mess around a whole bunch, you just click on the link up here. The next thing I do is I go for game add-ons, because if you're a subscriber, you get some free maps, and who doesn't want free maps? The first one I always add in is the Roll20 Pro Map Pack, because these are helpful instead of having to like sketch out something weird. I have the map pack there that I can just like drop in and be like, you're on a road, have a road. And then you'll see it'll take just a second to load, and then when it does, it'll say it's been successfully added to the game. And I will also add the Roll20, the new one that just came out recently, the Roll20 Pro Map Pack Underground. Add to game. And super simple, happens absolutely quickly with almost no interaction from you. And let's go see if there's anything else I want here. Rackma, Volo, water, nope, nothing, that's it. Okay, so last thing I want to check out is I want to look at API scripts. This is a way to automate some of the stuff in the game. I don't think there's anything I'm going to want to put in here, but I always just like to scroll through before I begin to just make sure that I don't want to add like their torture wall scripts, or like if I wanted to do anything with changing maps or page effects or anything like that. I don't know what this 5e, what does it say? Okay, here we go. Enhances the official 5th edition OGL Open Game License by Roll20 character sheet. The companion currently supports ammo tracking, automatic NPC tokens, automatic death save tracking, and automatic spell slot tracking. I feel like I want to give this a go. Automatically expends spell charges as cast, factoring in higher. I'm going to actually add this one in, and what'll happen when you add in a new script is you'll see it run really quickly down in the beginning, down in this black box down here, and then once you have the script installed, you can come over here and click on it, and it'll give you all the information. And the easiest way, you can just disable the script if you kind of want to turn it off, or get rid of it entirely by deleting it. And these are just little additional things creators, in this case, I'm not sure who created this. They are Steve K and Chris M. I don't think it's official, Roll20. I don't think most of the scripts are official. But in this case, it just adds a few extra options that will help with the bookkeeping. Because I find sometimes that like spell tracking and stuff like that can get lost in the shuffle, especially in like big tense fights. So this helps us out a little bit. Okay, so that's the one API script we're going to use. And we're going to go back. We just click Dark Descent, takes us back. And anything else, if you like to have an ongoing discussion in your game or give yourself some background material to present to the characters in a single unified place, there's also this game discussion option. And here you can just post topics. It's just like a little message board where you can send notes to your friends, the other players in the game. Players can pop up their backgrounds here for easy access. You can put in background information or character creation information. It's just a simple way to impart information that will kind of always be there when your players hop in for the first time, and they can just see it and click on it and it's good to go. So it's super helpful. And to get out of that, click the back button. So now we're going to launch the game. But before we do, just to review real quick, all you have to do is pick your module, pick the character sheet, go into settings, go to game settings and figure all that fun stuff out. If there's any game add-ons you want to add, plop those in. If there's any API scripts you want to add, pop those in. And if there's any additional information you'd like to impart, post on a new topic. And that's the basic front-end setup of a campaign in D&D or a campaign in Roll20. And so let's launch the game. This will take a moment because there's a ton of information that's about to be populated across a number of different like file folders and images off the top bar and all that sort of good stuff. And I'll show you all that in just a second. All right. So if you're a new GM and if you've never used Roll20 before, the first and most important thing you want to know is all your maps are with this little blue button right here. You click that and they all come down all the way across. And in this case, all of the free extra helpful maps are here at the back. Yay! And there are some extra ones here as well. Or do those come with it? No, those come with the thingy. Yeah. But here are all your maps that you need for, in this case, Descent into Avernus. And as you play through, they're actually in like chapter order, I do believe. So as you look through all of your information for the game, which starts here, and you got all your chapter information, all your player handouts, all the different pieces of the adventure, including, I think this has got like essentially the whole book in like pop-out form, which is super great. Including the Baldur's Gate Gazetteer, which is super helpful for the players. I just give them immediate access to all this. And if you want to do that, all you have to do is click Show to Players. Anything you want to show the players from this campaign screen, you can show to everyone there. And I like to do that with things that are going to be important to the game at the beginning, just so they have them available and I don't have to like search around over streaming for them. And that's going to be the Gazetteer, the History of Baldur's Gate. There we go. So now the entire Gazetteer is available to them. Cool. The last thing we're going to really deal with, or the last two things I think we're really going to deal with in getting your campaign actually set up is we're going to take a look real quick at the settings screen. Here you can choose the master volume level for the campaign. I am probably going to create some playlists to pop in here later, but I feel like that can probably take on a video all of its own. There are a number of really helpful advanced keyboard shortcuts that I like to use, like quick switching through the different layers and all of that good stuff. But this is about creating, not interacting so much. Creating with the campaign and not interacting with the different bits so much. So we will definitely get to that. 3D dice are always fun to roll, so I put them on there, and I always put automatically roll 3D dice, and they give you a nice little so it's just a little bit more of a tactile feel to the play space when you use them, and I think that's pretty great. The one thing I do turn off, because we use Zoom, it helps us with our streaming overlay, although you certainly don't have to, is I tend to turn the player avatar size to names only, and then I will, where's it at here? I want to broadcast to others nothing and nothing, and then you can reconnect. And then that'll stop any of that from happening. But if you're not streaming, there's absolutely no reason not to use the video and chat on here, or the video and voice chat on here, because they're fine. You get a whole bank of faces down below, and you can hear everybody okay. Faces, cameras down below, and you can hear everybody okay. So it works really well. And then you've just got it kind of all in one place. Anything else we care about here? Oh yeah, just a quick note. If you've run a bunch of other campaigns before, you can choose any of the many games that you've run in the past And you can add transmogrifiers. Like if I wanted to add specific map pages, I could copy them, paste them over. Specific characters, I could do that. If I wanted to add my music from old campaigns, we've got the jukebox down here. If I wanted to hand over roll tables, we could do that. So it's super easy to transfer any of the hard work that you've already done, including like playlists and stuff like that, from one campaign to another. So don't save yourself some time and just chuck that stuff over from wherever you had it before. And then last but not least, let's create characters. And I don't mean we're going to make a bunch of characters right now. I mean, we're going to create the bucket that people are going to put their character in. So let's collapse all this down. Boink, 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 boink. Wow, so much boink. Boink, 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 boink. Lots of stuff. Okay. Whew. All right. Now, add folder characters. PCs. Oh, not OCs. Wow. PCs. Okay. So we can now start adding characters to it. We have 6 players for this game, and they're going to be Chris. And what I like to do at this point is I like to make sure they're in all players' journals and can be edited by all players. I will change that later, but the reason I do it now is because I don't know the order people are going to log in, and this way people can just come in, grab their character, and start working on it, and then once I know it's theirs, we can change it over to be edited and controlled only by me and by them. Okay, and then what you do is I put them all in the PC bucket right here, and then we've got a bunch of blank character sheets that folk can come in once they've signed up and can start working on their character. Oh yeah, bonus tip. Hey, look at that. There's also the player character link, or the player link for this campaign. So if people need to sign up or whatever, it's also going to be at the beginning of every game. Every time you log in, there'll be this green box right here. And it's got the little bits of information that you need to know about, like whispering rolls and how to roll dice and all that stuff. But it also has the invite link, which is important if you forgot to grab it from the front. But that's it. That's all there is to it. When you're setting up a Roll20 campaign, it takes, what did that take us? Hang on. Let's take a look at the clock. That took us maybe 20 minutes to get everything done, and that's with me talking a whole lot and explaining it all. It'll take you 10. So remember, all you got to do is get that module, plug that module in, set up any preferences you need for it, hop in and make the character sheets. And at that point, you're going to be ready to go. So thank you all for hanging out with me during this, and I hope you check out the stream when it starts in about a week or two. We're going to be doing Descent into Avernus at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fridays on twitch.tv Welcome Party RPG with me as the Dungeon Master and an amazing group of folks playing, so I hope you'll join us. And I hope you found this helpful. If so, leave a message down in the comment, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you all so much. Have a good one.